Welcome to Twin number 58 on another cold winter day here in Canada. Today I wish to share with you 5 stories that we need to be paying attention to, but in particular I want to start out by talking about TrickBot. So for over 5 years now, TrickBot has been part of a tool chain that's used in so many cyber attacks on businesses, both small and large. So it's probably a good thing that we know a little bit about it. The tool clearly has a coordinated development team behind it, as it is responsible for an extremely wide range of capabilities, including initial access that comes via a URL sent to an intended victim or an email attachment. That simple attachment is asking the user then to enable macros or download an additional dropper. And so from there, it can execute programs of its choice, but most importantly, for the attacker, it establishes persistence at that point. It means that even if the computer is rebooted, it restarts with it. Now, it also has the ability to run as an administrator without prompting the user, and it can turn off Windows Defender, for example. The capacity to capture credentials from memory is another capability, as well as moving laterally, so from one computer to another. Furthermore, it collects sensitive data and it keeps a connection to the command and control infrastructure while exfiltrating data and sensitive information to other destinations. So it literally is the world's most advanced Swiss Army knife for cyber criminals, or at least the ones that own this tool. So for us, the defenders, this reality is what keeps us up at night. So here we have a way to see TrickBot in operation. It's still alive and adapting. And as labeled here, not your average hat trick, there's great illustrations in here that show how TrickBot operates. In our next story, we have the iPhone flaw that is exploited by a second Israeli spy firm. So just because iOS 15.3 has patched previously known vulnerabilities that allowed the NSO group to run its Pegasus software, clearly there are more zero-day exploits being used to spy on iPhone owners, at least those that aren't enjoying an additional layer of protection. And here we see that Mac malware called Update Agent has been spreading for some time, and it continuously gains additional capabilities. Similar to the TrickBot story, each iteration just has more and more capabilities. So if you don't get apps any other way than through the App Store, you're likely not going to get this malware. But if you do use any other installation sources, then you definitely need additional protection in a Mac environment. In this story, we read about cyber attack on News Corp, and specifically targeting the email addresses and sources and contacts and details of that journalists have. And I know how much thought and fear a typical journalist experiences that is hoping that this will never happen to them. And in our last story here, we read about how $323 million in crypto was stolen from a blockchain bridge called Wormhole. And it's very sad to me because blockchain technology as a whole is a very promising future for all of humanity. But by the same token, because of its mystery and because of its complexity, it makes most of us vulnerable to being hijacked in one way or another. So just be cautious. The technology is here to stay, but be very careful and get familiar with how you may be investing into crypto, that you're super cautious and careful. And did you know that blockchain-based DNS is really a double-edged sword, similar to VPN and encrypting technologies? Traditional government authorities can ultimately seize most top-level domains, especially a .com, for example. However, they cannot seize blockchain-based domains, so naturally, that's where cyber criminals are going. So you do need additional protection to make sure that in a business environment or in a personal computer environment that those types of domains don't work. Zero trust for the win in so many of these stories again. So hope you come back next week. See you then.